Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you solve your immigration problem and maybe preventing that freaking problem from happening in the first place. There's a lot of immigration problems, and y'all probably don't know about it. And that's why I'm here live to share those with you as we go through, as I answer questions for y'all. So welcome to drop your question in the chat box. Apologies for the delay. Everyone's got everyone's got billing problems, including me apparently. Even though my credit card was on auto pay for internet. Thank goodness, man. We depend on internet so much. It's wild. But anyways, here to answer your question. Today's topic is immigration under President Biden's presidency, of course, election year. It's crazy. Almost 4 years have passed by. So it's April 9th, 2024. Election is going to be in November. I think it's usually the second week, November 2024. So it's coming up, folks. And so even though immigration fees went up generally across the board, not for everything, but across the board, okay, pretty much, you still should file sooner than later, okay? Because not trying to create fear or anything, but especially if you have a court case, whether it's administrative closure, or it's active, maybe you got a hearing next year or 2 years from now, don't wait. There could be something you could be eligible to do now, and that might go away. Okay, prosecutorial discretion has always existed. It's just that, with former President Trump, he cut it down a bit. Okay, in fact, a lot. And with President Biden, they've expanded it even more than when President Obama was in office. Okay, so this is a time to get it done, folks. Okay, don't wait on it. If you have any questions about any of that, what the hell is John talking about? Welcome to ask me. Okay, don't be shy. And even if you're shy right now in a live show, no worries. You can schedule a meeting with one of our attorneys, our premier associates. Just go to your respective platform. On the About page, profile page, there should be a link that you can schedule that allow you to answer a few questions. Now, we really care about our mission to help people live and work in America legally. Yeah, duh, that's obvious. But, I have to say it like that because some conservative people might think like, oh, I'm just helping get people a work permit illegally. I don't know. I don't know what people think, but whatever. We're here to help you get status, okay? Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about back and forth on what immigration may look like with President Trump. And I think just generally speaking that y'all know that it's not going to look good, okay? There's been talk that of course it's hearsay, but this is just what we hear from others, right? And if you might remember 4 years ago, almost 8 years ago by now, his first few months in office were a wreck, okay? And it included the travel ban, okay? Where it was even before the COVID travel ban. It was just the one against people from the Middle East. That's just flat out discriminatory, yet the government was able to continue that for a long time, okay? And that was before COVID. And so it's been so long that some of y'all don't remember. It is a wild time. A lot of us immigration attorneys were trying to help out pro bono where we could, and it was just nuts. So we're here for you, okay? Even the situations that you may not necessarily, hire an attorney, we're here on a live show to share real-time information, and also even if you're trying to file it for yourself. Now, with that being said, no immigration attorney I know, there could be others out there, will walk you step by step and go through every single question without you hiring them, because that is part of our service. Okay. Now, I'm going to answer your questions very soon, so stay tuned. All right. But here, you have to know that with President Biden, it is a bit more flexible. Well, I call it lenient. Some could argue it's lenient, but when I have to present a case with the Department of Homeland Security attorney, it's not a walk in the park. Okay, I still have to present talk about any possible crimes that have been in the past from a client. And if there was a crime, I have to provide alleviating, mitigating factors. Okay. For example, if there was some kind of arrest related to assault, and yes, even if the spouse had dropped the charges, which is not easy, depending on the district attorney, they might not drop the charges. And in this particular case, about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Dallas, it was a misunderstanding, unfortunately. And it was about really a silly thing. It's just they never were in an argument before. And it was just really silly. And I feel bad that they even got in this situation. And the spouse was not the one that called the cops, it was a friend. Okay. So, what I'm trying to say, you might, or your friend, someone you know might get in a situation like this. And you might think, well, oh, of course, I'm not a criminal. I'm not going to hit someone. Wrong place, wrong time. That was exactly what my clients were, unfortunately. And that actually happened about a year ago, the incident. So you just never know. And we found out because this is how we do our client representation. We have a long discussion. Sometimes the information people might not share in the first 30 minutes, but it takes it takes time to be comfortable with your attorney, even if you hired them like 3 years ago, right? So that's just something to know. We really take our time to make sure we fully understand the situation so we can advocate for you. And that is what happened a couple weeks ago. We're able to get that case dismissed out of court. Okay, so I don't want to say any other attorney would not take the time to do that, but you know, a lot of attorneys think time is this, right? We charge flat fee, we set payment plans. Okay. Now, if you do want a session with us to get pre-qualified with one of our attorneys, okay, this means your first meeting with one of our team members is not an attorney, it's a CARES team specialist. Okay. I call them CARES team specialists because we care about our mission and you to help you get legal status. Any other law firm or company will just call them assistant, right? Something like that. All right. So, really intentional about the way we provide customer service. So, anyway, if you want one of those sessions, you want to secure it, you do have to pay this amount. Okay. We don't like charging that. However, it's more of a reservation fee because there's been a couple bad apples that schedule the self-scheduled meeting and then don't show up, even though we text the reminder, a courtesy phone call. It's pretty rude, right? We're trying to help here to help people. So I think you can appreciate that, in respect of your own job or company or business, you got to show up if you're going to schedule it. Okay. Um, so we refund. If you ask for the refund, we will refund it. Okay. No, because we just have a lot of things going on. You have to ask. Okay. Now here's the deal. um, all right. So there's of course a lot more I can go into about what it could look like Trump versus Biden administration, but I'm pretty sure you have a pretty good idea. All right. But that's just initial glance. It's, several months away from an election. But as it gets closer and campaign, really tunes up, we'll share more information with y'all. All righty. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for your trust. All righty. I see questions from both platforms, so I will definitely answer them. I'll probably be online for about 30 minutes. Thanks for joining the show. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you solve your immigration problem. All right. So the first question here on TikTok, yes. Okay, you filed these I-130, 45, 765, received January 19th, and you got the fingerprints 216, so less than a month after you filed it. Okay. Still pending and married to US citizen at NBC. Wait time. That's a magic ball type question. I mean, it ultimately depends, number one, on your location of your case. So I'll just make it up. But if you're in Houston, Texas, like where our physical office is located, it could take average 6 months. Traditionally, before the pandemic, it would be about 12 months. Okay, but you never know. Yours, you said marriage to U.S. citizen. That interview could be waived. You never know. So it's hard to say right now. It's too soon for your situation. All right, let me switch over to the next platform here. I'll try to go back and forth. Hey, Chris Dominguez. Not sure if you're still on because it looks like you made this comment last night. But yeah, the best way to contact us, of course, on certain platforms, you can see the phone number right there. Otherwise, you can go to our profile link and just answer a couple questions and self-schedule for a meeting. So yeah, after you pay that amount, it's going to redirect you to a new page of our calendar. Okay, so keep that in mind because y'all might like walk off or something and forget about that. Okay, we really have a really, I think, fine-tuned system. There could be. Okay, so I'm back. All right, let me talk fast. Okay, Happy Gotra on TikTok. When your green card was stolen, can you apply for US citizenship without the green card? I highly recommend you apply the I-90 so you have proof that you are trying to keep it. Okay, so the I-90 is to replace your lost green card. Now, the policy manual does say you need it, and even when you have the oath ceremony, you have to provide it. Okay, um, if it's expired, that's different. But at least you have the residency card in your hand as identity proof. A lot of questions about citizenship, actually. So those are great. William, can your employer sponsor you for a green card while waiting for an interview? Which kind of interview? Asylum interview? The default answer is yes, but it's complex, William. So you likely will need to apply for consular processing, and even before then, because you might have some unlawful presence, you'll need to be eligible for waiver. So one other thing is that some people ask, well, can you file the 485 eventually? That's going to be a tough one because that's because you need to show that you've maintained status, and most people, no one who has applied for asylum who has applied for asylum has maintained status. All right. All right. Thanks for staying on. I had some internet issues for some reason. It's a bit gloomy in Houston today. Sasko Balas on TikTok. Can I stop re-entry back in the U.S. with AP? Yes, they can. They absolutely can. Customs can stop you. So that's why it's very important, even if you have AP, that you make sure you don't have any arrests, crimes. Um, yeah, I mean, not saying that all arrests or any type of arrest would in the past would stop that, but you just want to make sure with an attorney one on one. But knock on wood, every client that we've had that had AP has been able to re-enter with that a valid AP advanced parole. All right, here on Instagram, Initra 88. Hi, your spouse has not been working for a long time. I'm guessing he's a sponsor. This condition can a condition be severe for financial loss for Expedite EAD? It's possible. I definitely would try. Okay. By the way, if you're trying to expedite your case, here's a quick tip. Okay. You want to get on the website, uscis.gov, and chat with Emma. Okay. She's the website chat. That's what they call her. Try that, because if you call in, you're going to get the automated bot. And I've tried saying expedite request, and it'll just say a lot of mumbo jumbo, and then it's like call back later type of thing. It's kind of annoying. So try Emma, the website chat. That's tip number one. Tip number two, if for some reason it doesn't work, then when you call in the 800 hotline, then just say the magic words InfoPass. Try that to get bypass the automated bot. All right. Hopefully they don't kick me off again. This internet thing. Hey Beluga, what's up? Sweet Life, you're welcome. Happy to help. Street Max TV. How long get Labor Department approval? If you're talking about labor certification, that the average time of say 8 months or more. Unfortunately, they're taking a hell of a long time. Christopher, what's up on YouTube? You've been here for 23 years. I have status and pay taxes. Any possibility to get status? Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer the question with just that information alone. In general, you need to have a sponsor if you're already in the U.S. Okay. Makan on YouTube. Hi, John. What does it mean DHS does not adopt factual representations or legal arguments advanced by the respondent? Basically, they don't believe you. Okay, Makan. That's right. I think you commented before that you have a removal case. So, and I think yours sounds like yours is related to PD to get it reopened and dismissed. So this might be a situation. If you want to try again, we really need to take a look at what you did or what your prior attorney did. Okay. All right, Makan. So Makan, I don't know if you've called us before, but phone number right there. And if you go to YouTube about page or something, the link's there as well. Okay, some people have asked, where am I located? We're located in Houston, Texas. All right, we got a physical office, and yeah, you can stop by. All right, we'll get some grub. Houston's got some really good food. All righty. King Q asking, why is Texas Service Center so slow at giving out 45s? I don't know. No idea. But if your case is taking 45, taking more than 18 months, contact us, okay, about suing the government, USCIS. We'll definitely talk about that. Simon Dare, 878. Good day. How can you make a FOIA request to USCIS? The easiest way is, well, you do it online, okay, with the USCIS website. I believe if you just Google search USCIS FOIA, it should take you straight there. Sometimes it takes like a couple clicks to get to the actual submission form online. But here's what I recommend. Here's my tip about FOIA, okay? That if you're, for example, let's say if you have an attorney and you ask your attorney to submit FOIA, which it wouldn't make sense to ask your attorney to submit a FOIA if like they've been your attorney for like 2 years. This has happened. Several times a year, we end up have a person sign up with us because they have no idea if their prior attorney have filed the application. It's mind-boggling, folks. It's truly mind-boggling. Like, I don't know if it's because, not to give some law firms a slap on the wrist or anything. Like, I would slap them in the face, you know? Like, it's just a situation that even when we ask for the file on behalf of the client, actually the assistant answered the phone, but they didn't give the file. They end up giving straight to the client, their old client, which I can understand to some extent, but it took like 2 months to get the freaking file. So some attorneys are horrible in that sense. Maybe because they want to check their cloud folder or whatever to make sure like it's all clean and whatnot. But our new client thought that the other law firm thought they filed a VAWA application. It doesn't appear so. There's no application. There's no receipt notice. And in fact, there was a certification form for U visa that it's expired 6 years ago. U visa certification is only valid for, guess how long? 6 months. Yeah, not good. Okay. All right, let me answer some questions. Hey, Sonny, I see your question. If you're still on, what happens if withholding a removal isn't replied by in 60 days? So I think you're referring to, like, y'all, if some of y'all don't know what WOM means, is I'm sorry, not withhold, a writ of mandamus. Okay, writ of mandamus. This is a lawsuit. That's the more formal name, a writ of mandamus. Okay, so this is based on unreasonable delays. All right. So if you sue the government has 60 days to file an answer to court. Some people call it a reply. Generally, U.S. attorneys need more time. It's just how it works as lawyers working with lawyers in a sense. Like, even if we're on the opposite sides, sometimes they ask for extra time. Now, it depends on the case, but most of the time when the case is related to consular processing, it's definitely not as quick for the U.S. attorney to get information from their liaison. And from what I understand, it's the liaison from D.C., okay? So that's why they ask for extra time. And even so, a lot of people who sign up with us, they ask like, oh, like, what kind of answer are we expecting? Nothing. You're not actually wanting an answer, because if they file an answer to the court system, generally how it works for any kind of case, okay, civil, whatever, or it's to deny all our claims. We don't want that, okay? And in fact, when you have that happen, when an answer is filed by a government U.S. attorney, that triggers a scheduling order, okay? And so, just depending on the situation, we usually want to work with that, okay? At least for the first 1 or 2 months. Now, I know no one likes that. I definitely understand. No one wants to extend their time in a sense. But if you're too into it in a sense, okay, to where you're like saying, well, no, we absolutely need to get an answer from a U.S. attorney, like, they're going to be less likely to actually cooperate with us. I know it's more of a psychology thing. So you do want to try to work together a little bit, okay? Be collegial. Maybe collegial is the right word, adjective, and not saying work together, okay? Let's see here. Mario, what is the ideal process for someone who's looking to marry a U.S. citizen and eventually be sponsored by them? Well, ideal process, I think you actually mean like the immigration process. And so it depends. Is a beneficiary, maybe that's you, Mario. Are you in the United States or you're abroad? Okay. So if you're in the United States, maybe you enter with a visa, or maybe you didn't enter a visa, but you qualify for an exception to show admissibility, legal entry in the sense that you're eligible for adjustment of status is what I mean. Then you should apply for all the forms, okay? So everyone's scenario, it's very difficult to encompass certain processes in a short video, of course. Hey, roots and routes. Greetings. You don't know if you're being impatient. It's been now 60 days and you haven't heard back from USCIS after receiving your receipt notice. What's your expectation, roots and routes? Are you looking for a biometrics notice, or if you're expecting a green card, then you're definitely being impatient. But if you're expecting biometrics, I would say average 3 months, okay, to get that notice. I know it's ridiculous. Biometrics notice to do the fingerprints should be, you would think, like easy button type situation. Like everyone needs to do it so USCIS can check your background. But that's really dependent on the subcontracted office, their availability, because of course a lot of people apply. Here's your follow-up comment. Is there anything that you can do to have your work permit in 131 expedite? Oh, okay. So that's kind of what I was thinking you were talking about. So you can ask us for the free guide. We do have a free guide about expedite request. If you want it, you can DM us. Well, if you're on YouTube, we can't DM, and I wouldn't provide your email in the YouTube comment. So the best way is to text us over here or fill out the form. Okay, answer a few questions, and we'll send you. Just ask for the expert, whatever guide you're looking for. Just ask us, especially if I mention it on the live show. And then you also ask if you're okay. Next question for you: if your wife's petition for her stepkids, what would affect your current case? I don't know what you mean. Would that affect your current case if your wife sponsors your stepkids? No, I mean, if anything, the only thing I can think of currently is the 864. That would change a little bit, okay? When that time comes. You don't have to, when you consular family members from abroad, you don't have to file the 864 at the very beginning. That's later on. Okay, that's like phase 2. Alrighty. But a lot of y'all have in-depth questions like roots and routes. I really suggest you speak to Immigration Lawyer 101 and not just the live show. But thank you so much for your questions. Let's see here. Lacey 1000. How much should you expect to spend to immigrate from Canada to US? That's a great question. Maybe I should record a video about that, because I don't only just think immigration fees, and it also depends on who's sponsoring you, a company or individual like a family member. I'm assuming you're only talking about immigration government fees, but I mean, if you're talking about getting a residency and you're getting sponsored by a family member, it's going to be about. I just did the calculation yesterday, and I don't have it on in front of me. Between 2,000 to 3,000. Okay. But that's if you're in the US already. If you're constant processing, then it's, I think, 515 if you file online. Okay. But I could be a little off with the fees because they did increase. Alrighty. Goober on TikTok. Where can you get the I-94 card? So it is no longer a physical card. They could give you a stamp in your passport, but where they absolutely track it, in quotations, is on the I-94 CBP website. Okay, so you Google search I-94 and CBP for Custom Border and Protection. It's going to take you straight there to that website link, or the page, and then you just put in your passport information. Now, if you're looking for like if you're talking about the new one, but if someone's looking for the old information, you have to provide probably your passport information that was expired. Other thing to know, they might misspell your name, even as they transpose like 2 letters, or if you have 2 last names, you may want to enter 1 last name, 2 last names just in case, or flip flop it just in case. All right, because you might get no results. Thanks for the follow, folks. Let's see here. Shazab, I think, on TikTok. How long does it take to get I-130 approved, file for a green card holder? Last I saw, about last week, it was average 2 years. Okay, 24 months is very ridiculous. But I've even had a case where they just signed up with us, and it's been about 2 years, but the person sponsor is a US citizen. So that should not take 2 years. That's ridiculous. Either way, it's ridiculous. Should not take that long. Moonchild. Hey, if you're just now joining, by the way, and you haven't heard about us, my name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States. My law firm name is Ting Law Group. And yes, we do offer a strategy session at no cost to you. You do have to get pre-qualified for this session. Okay, so the first session is not with one of our premier attorneys. It is with one of our care team specialists, so they can really set up the session for you to understand if we can even help you. All right, because we don't want to waste your time. All right, so here's the next thing here. Hey, Inatera, you're welcome. Cesar, what's up on YouTube? Do you need the physical GC to apply for a job, or just an A number and social security number? It depends on the HR of that company, because some people, like, let's say I'm just speculating here for your situation, but maybe you just got approved, but you don't have the physical card yet. I would just, like, if you've already gone down the line for the job, I mean, when you apply for a job, no one asks for that. I hope not. But if you actually got offered the job and then and you accept the job, gone through the interviews and all that, that's when the HR is supposed to provide you the I-9 form. And companion document is the I-9 instructions, which has like 3 columns, a column A, B, C, and that'll notify you like what type of identity documents to provide. So typically they do make a copy of it. Okay. But if you're already in a situation where you are at that stage where you need to provide those documentation, then of course let them know you've been approved. You just need to wait for the actual card itself, which they might give you a hard time, but that's because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm actually been meeting like several HR folks lately, and trying to share a little education on what they should ask for and don't need to ask about. All right, here. Moonchild, back to you on TikTok. Can a first DUI ruin a pending VAWA case? No, it doesn't. It may not. It just depends on the facts of the situation. Fingerprints were submitted prior to misdemeanor. I see. Well, they'll probably rerun them before the interview, I would think. Folks, thanks so much for sharing the live. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your trust. And let's get to the next question. Miss Alpha on TikTok. Your husband's I-130 got approved and your son is in the military. Can that help your husband for a parole in place? Ooh, that's going to be a tough one, because generally, yes, son does count in terms of military parole in place, but it depends when you got married. Okay, and also, is your husband the biological parent of your son? Then that's default, yes, right? But if is a step parent relationship, then your marriage date had to have happened before your son became or turned 18 years old. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind there. You're welcome, Cesar. Absolutely happy to help you all. So these are good examples, just point you in the right direction. Who knows, you might not need an attorney, or you're already closer to the finish line like Cesar is, that you just need that one question, all right? So typically that one question is not necessarily for the strategy session, right? But it depends. If it's because I get other non-immigration attorneys tell me this too, like, hey, I got a quick question. Yeah, that's cool. I understand that your question will be quick. But with immigration lawyers, the answer is not quick. It's usually takes a long time, because there's lots and lots of layers of issues to go through. And y'all don't know that. And I completely understand, because you don't do this every day. So that's why I'm here on a live show to explain that. Sometimes, depending on your question, and some people might say, like, dang, John, you're taking a long time in a question. Yeah, because the questions are quick, but the answers are need to be long, or not need to be, but the I like to provide thorough answers. Anyways, Anon on YouTube, you filed I-130 for your parents since April 2023, but you're based on your status said your case is active. Or you're fed up with waiting. How much longer? Um, yeah, it's actually April 2024 now, so you've been waiting about a year. I-130, yeah, and of course you're a US citizen. So it sounds like you're consular processing, but it's immediate relative. So yeah, average a year for petitions if you're an immediate relative. Okay, especially for parents and your consular abroad. But if it's 18 months, then talk to us. Okay, non. Hopefully you don't have to talk to us, but here to talk about mandamus if you need it. Alrighty, how y'all doing today? Where y'all watching from, by the way? I'm always interested. Okay, I don't mean to skip around, but something just caught my attention here. Kazik Hill, you've been waiting for an asylum interview. Okay, so if you've been waiting for more than 4 years and you have an asylum application on file, you're still waiting for the freaking interview. And if you believe you have a strong claim, which of course most of y'all believe you have a strong claim, I'm happy to answer your questions about asylum. I mean, filing for mandamus lawsuit based on unreasonable delay. Again, our minimum with our law firm, I don't know about other law firms, but our minimum wait time for asylum cases waiting for interview is 4 years. So if you waited for 3 years, we would ask you to kindly wait, okay? Because yes, of course, we absolutely want to advocate for you. But the thing is, if you want the smoothest possibility to get that interview date, we suggest to wait 4 years. This is specific for asylum interview, okay? Any other case type application is a different timing, okay? We have a chart that we follow. Hey, what's up, Anan? Glad to see you from Minneapolis. I visited before a couple times. I actually like it, especially summer. I've never been there in winter. I do not dare to do that. I don't know how y'all do it with the skywalks. Cesar, good to see you from Portland. Hopefully things are on the up and up over there in downtown Portland. You know, Texas, we hear a lot of things about liberal cities. You know, I think y'all know which political spectrum I'm on. But if you watched my previous videos, but hopefully everything's better in your neck of the woods. Hey, go get a Webby. Good to see you again. 864 RFE, your wife. So you got an RFE. Okay, well, you're getting closer. Okay, 864. That's, I guess, what they asked for. Your wife makes 75,000 annually. Unfortunately, that's not enough information, but that's a good starting point. It also depends on how many dependents you have. It even includes children, dependent who's not even in your household, not in your home. So that you have to consider that. And so the more people in your family, that actually increases the minimum poverty guidelines. Okay. So in case you have questions about the minimum poverty guideline, the chart, how much you need minimum, just Google search 864p. So those actually brings up something. We're going to start webinars pretty soon. It's pretty sure we're going to use a different platform than these. So we would need your email if you're interested in specific topics, especially like the 864. We can't literally walk you through every single step question, but we can give you a lot more guidance if it's a group setting. Okay, that's more controllable than these platforms. So, anyways, where we can answer questions specific to that topic. So, if you're interested in that topic, A64, or any other topic, send us a DM on your respective platform with your name, the topic, and maybe mention webinar. And our marketing team Maria will help out and collect that information, and we'll get you scheduled. Okay, invite you to the webinar. Can I check if TPS is extended yet for Ethiopians? Okay, let's see. Hopefully my internet will work. Okay, as that pops up, let me check. Looks like something pops up. Yeah, extended through TPS for Ethiopians extended through June 12th, 2024. And the registration period ends June 12th, 2024. So you definitely want to renew that, okay? Or I'm assuming you have it now since you said extended. By the way, any of y'all coffee drinkers, this is my first time trying this one. Win Coffee Supply. What's y'all's favorite? Right here. Okay, thank you so much for your questions. Thanks for tuning in here. Aki Tung on TikTok here. You came through the border. Can your U.S. citizen brother file for you? Absolutely. Aki Tung, your sibling, U.S. citizen sibling can file a petition for you. However, that does not mean that you can get residency in the United States because you said you came through the border, and that typically I associate that with either parole or no legal entry. But even if you did enter and you're with legal entry, some people overstay and they're depending on getting a green card through their sibling. It's not going to happen in the United States unless you qualify for an exception, which if you do qualify for exception of not having to show maintaining status in the United States, that likely means you would have to apply for something different. Let's say like you've been victim of a crime, you've been victim of abuse, then you wouldn't go through your sibling anymore. It would just go through VAWA or U visa, for example. Or even someone commenting here on a SIJ, SIJ. Okay, Makan, back to you on YouTube. They said that after they agreed, oh, that's weird. They said that after they agreed to the joint motion to reopen. So I don't really understand your situation. So now it seems like you're saying they agreed to the joint motion to reopen, but yet they don't. Well, what's the final status? Check online if you don't have a physical order or an order emailed to you. Okay, so that's the order itself. Or online. If you Google search EOIR automated case information, type in your A number, it will tell you. I think typically on the right side, the status of your court case. But if you're, I think I understand what you're saying is that maybe they did get it, dismiss it for you, but then on the order it said they don't agree to whatever you said. That's fine as long as you get your case dismissed. That's okay, because you may have submitted application for something in the past. So I think that's what they're talking about. Like whatever argument you made in the past, they're trying to cover their butt, basically. That if you get referred back to court in the future, that whatever you said in the past won't be used against the government. I think that's what they're trying to say. And to go that a little further, I think they're also trying to say, like, if you provide information in the past, then they're not trying to say that the court dismissed your case because of that other information. Okay, so it's quite interesting. Usually some judges don't grant the dismissal, but they dismiss it still because DHS will remove the notice to appear. It's like it's a charging document. Hey, Mimi on TikTok. What is better for resident, parent, citizen's sister, or wait for your son turn 21? I think you mean what is better for you to become a resident? Oh, you're a parent? Okay. Definitely not the sister. It's either your resident parent or your son at 21. You have DACA, but it also depends how old your son is. But generally your son. Well, this is what I would do. Okay, those are, excuse my burp there. I do need to eat something very soon. So I'll answer a couple more questions for y'all. All right. And then I'm going to be on live tomorrow. Apologies about yesterday and I think last Friday. Apparently, there was a solar eclipse. Hopefully, you got a chance to enjoy the experience. Um, but here's the deal. Okay. Strategy plan for Mimi on TikTok. Even though it's a long wait time for the first two you mentioned being sponsored by a parent who is resident or through your US citizen sibling, file the petition based on them, okay, just to have it on file because you never know what can happen in the future. And then when your child turns 21, then have your child and you're still waiting on the first case, right? Most likely. Then your child turns 21, then file a case through your child who's over 21 now. Okay, um, it's absolutely imperative. Okay, because a lot of y'all may be able to, like you said, maybe enter with DACA or has DACA, not enter with DACA. Then you can apply for AP, travel on it, re-enter, and that be considered legal entry, which will allow you to avoid having to file the waiver application. Very, very important. Okay. So that's actually a good situation to note here. Like if you some kind of similar to what Mimi's situation, if you have a situation where someone's a U.S. citizen sponsor, you file a petition and it's taking more than 18 months, and especially if it's taking 24 months, you need to know these petitions are not supposed to take that long through a U.S. citizen spouse. Okay, and whether your spouse, let's say your spouse is actually in the United States. So some of y'all know that you need to apply for a waiver, 601A application, if the other spouse, undocumented spouse, overstay their visa, okay, or even if they didn't have a visa, okay, you need to file an application. Well, the freaking 601A takes 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years takes a hell of a long time. So what does that mean? You might be asking, okay, cool, John, I already know that because you talk about that all the time. Well, you got the petition wait time that's already probably taken some of y'all 2 years. And then after that's finally approved, there's no telling when that will be approved. But then you got to file the waiver. And, with our team, we try to, I wouldn't say expedite, but we have a much faster process than other law firms, I can imagine, after speaking with colleagues, just sharing tips with each other on how we do things. That because we know the waiver process can take a long time, towards the back end of the petition processing, we ask clients, let's work together on this waiver application, anticipating that the petition will be done soon. So as soon as a petition is approved, then we can file the waiver application. Okay. So with that being said, that's potentially 2 years for the petition plus another 4 years for the waiver. And then, so that's 6 years already. And then you add another at least 1 to 2 years for the consular process if you had to, when you have to go abroad for the interview. So what is that? Potentially 6 to 8 years. It's a ridiculously a long time. So anything that we can do as customer service, as a law firm, service provider, professional service provider, okay, not your just community person, not your uncle, auntie. We're here as a professional law firm to help you every step of the way, okay? Because whoever you depend on, like a family member, and even if they're a lawyer, but maybe they do something else, not immigration law, I'm sure they have a really good heart. They want to help you, but maybe you depend on them because you're just used to depending on them because they're always helpful. But look, if they don't understand immigration law, or they want to, even if they pretend to understand immigration law, you might want to double check that, okay? Especially y'all that have family preference, you really have to check that at least once a year. Okay, so what am I trying to say? Maybe consider at least talking to an immigration lawyer, exclusively practices immigration law. Alrighty. Work, Pray, Hustle TV. I need to check out your channel. That sounds like motivational there. Hi, can I give some information on SIJ? So this is a question. Thank you for the question, but it's more so like a webinar topic. So you can answer a few questions and ask us to invite you to the webinar. But more or less, SIJ is typically for someone for typically a child who entered U.S. without documentation, without a visa, and can prove through a family court first, step number one, that one of your parents, just one of your parents, not both, one of your parents have abandoned you or neglected you or abused you. Those three main scenarios. So for most people, it's abandonment. Okay. So everyone has a slightly different definition of abandonment. So if you're interested in that, we can talk about it. But the key fact is getting that family court order before the child turns 18. Very few states allow that family court order between 18 and 21 years old. Okay. It depends on the state. Very limited states. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. All right, folks. Thank you so much. I got to get to the next meeting. I appreciate your time. And you know what to do. Follow, subscribe, share. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Sorry, I couldn't answer everyone's question. See you tomorrow. Peace.